So for today, I'm going to first discuss the ESTP, the theory behind the two subtypes, provide you some concrete descriptions for how you can find these subtypes, what are the difference between them, what key variables to look for. Then I will provide you with key examples from celebrities or people from the internet that fit this theory and test out the theory to prove that it does and it's possible to spot the ESTP and their subtypes. So we'll just dive in as of now. So we'll start with the extroverted sensing subtype. And this subtype is witty and impulsive, while seemingly concealing within them the latent threats. They appear unappeasable. However, they are sharp, aggressive, and persevering people, notably resourceful. They are able to manifest vindictiveness in doses that make life for their ill-wishers simply intolerable. Their character appears full of contrast and unpredictability towards those whom they love. They are often tender, even sentimental. Their sense of humor easily incorporates sarcasm and caustic irony, are talkative, charming, witty, critical, and sharp, love epithets and slang expressions. Their movements are fast and gait-centered. When walking, their slightly bent knees provide them with an gratiating feline resemblance, appreciate life and tend to watch over their health, periodically exercising through sports, gymnastics, dress tastefully and expensively, usually provide an impression of a self-assured and prospering person. So there are some good tidbits there, and there are some things that are just fat you don't really need to so much focus on, but I'll give you the key variables you need to look for when looking for this extroverted sensing subtype. And what you need to look for is that they are witty and impulsive. That's probably the key word when looking for this kind of personality, is that they seem very talkative, they're very slang oriented, and you can kind of get that witty feeling from them. They appear unappeasable, they're sharp, aggressive and persevering people, and notably resourceful. So this gives an impression of someone of very strong personality. So it's not so much about critical judgment, but it's more about an outward sense of energy and expression that you can notice from them. They're unpredictable, so they tend to be volatile in a sense. It's kind of unpredictable in their personalities, but not extreme unpredictability. It's more expressive and outwardness. They're sarcastic, they're talkative, they're charming, critical, witty, sharp, and love slang expressions. So the way they speak, you can kind of notice, yes, this is going to be an ESTP personality type. Gait and way to move is tend to be fast, so when you notice their hand movements, keep an eye to the fact that they like to move their hands a lot, and you will notice this from the videos in a pattern-wise. And they tend to dress tastefully and expensively, so in a sense, they seem like they're very resourceful kind of people who are successful. So it's not about business-oriented, but it's a sense of lavishness they can show to the world. Now that was for the extroverted sensing subtype. Now we'll move to the introverted thinking subtype, and to provide you a description, this subtype tends to presents themselves as an impression of a quiet force and confidence for themselves. They are rational and sequential in affairs, hardworking and hardy, usually appear cool, sustained, and collected. However, in moments of irritation, they express their fury in demonstratively sharp, absolute gestures. Within a quiet atmosphere, they are kind and polite while keeping the interlocutor at a distance. Their humor is sharp, sometimes rude, and they bear a quick, mistrustful glare from under their eyebrows. They're kind, but also serious and guarded. Their gait and gestures appear harmonious, smooth, and precise, tend to dress rather monotonously, so it's simply, and however, from time to time, they clothe themselves brightly and even extravagantly. Appreciates quality in apparel and often creates many outfits from a few articles. Thus, they show concern for both their behavior and appearance. Though they often seem cold and inaccessible, they themselves try to appear proper, equal, and benevolent while maintaining their advantages. So just to empty out the fat, the key variables for looking for the introverted subtype is that the keywords is a quiet force and confidence. So they do present themselves in a confident manner, but they also have a quiet sense of presenting that confidence. So you'll notice their energy, it tends to be calm, but confident at the same time. They appear rational and sequential. They appear cool, sustained, and collected. They're polite. They tend to have a mistrustful glare, and you can actually notice this through facial expressions. Their gestures tend to be very harmonious and smooth and precise, so you'll notice that from when they move their hands, it tends to be very calm and oriented. Their dress tends to be simple, and from their appearance, they also tend to be cold and acceptable, but they also seem to have some sense of collected, equal, and seem to be proper in their conduct to people. So, as a summary from both the subtypes, when you're looking for the introvert subtype, the main key words are that they're calm and confident, while when you're looking for the extrovert subtype, it tends to be very expressive and outwordy and witty and impulsive in their approach with the world. So now I'm going to leave you with key examples from people on the internet and personalities and celebrities and politicians that fit this character, and you will notice the key variables that I mentioned will appear again. So pay attention to the main aspects I pinpointed it, and you will see and start to notice a pattern of how to spot ESTP personality types.
She comes and she watches and stuff like that, but you know how like your mom will call and ask you if if you wash behind your ears or doing things like that? Like she will call me and be like, have you done your arm bars? Have you been doing enough arm bars? You know, you can't be going away from, you can't be just get all excited about hitting things. You have to do your arms. So my mom calls me and berates me about arm bar practice. I'm really excited. But the thing is, that fight, I mean, I trained for all that time my whole life, and every microsecond of that fight had never been done before in MMA. The girl came at me doing a flying knee and I did a backward cartwheel off of my head and invented an armbar that had never been done in MMA before. No one has ever charged at me before, so she came in with a flying knee. If I walked through like all the decision process and all of the like observations, it would seem like a 5-minute fight. But yeah, it looks short in hindsight. I didn't even know what happened. It was short.
Brother 11 and 13 at the Big Brother 15 press junket with one of the newest house guests. Why don't you tell everybody your name and where you're from?
Okay.
Obviously, you're going to be using your charm and your sexuality in the house. I'm guessing. It's a wild guess.
I am.
Spoken like a true realtor. Because you got to sell everybody, you know, like no matter who walks in that door, you got to sell them, be their friend, because you want them to buy from you.
Right. Well,
which is great for the Big Brother house.
When I was in junior high school, I was studying. I mean, I was reading. By the time I was in high school, I was obsessed with wanting to know what was the difference in people's lives. Why do some people work their tails off and they're broke, or they're frustrated, or they have terrible relationships, but they have good intent? You know, somebody who's in good intent, you understand. But somebody who's working their tail off, they got great effort. Why are they suffering? Why are they not fulfilled? Why are they not achieving? And then you see other people who life is beat up, right? You know, it's like some people, life is, their parents may have given them every advantage they possibly could. They had great economic, great education, lots of love, and they spending their life going in and out of rehab. And then you see somebody else who's like, you know, like an Oprah, right? You know, sexually abused, emotionally abused, everything else, and she turns around and changes the world. So that obsession really made me look and say, what makes people do what they do? And I wanted it for myself. But when in high school, I was already Mr. Solution. You had a problem, I had a solution. Especially if you're a girl, I was extra motivated to help you with that boyfriend of yours. Get him out of here, you know?
They may not need precision in sports talk, but when you put yourself out there as an expert, and the people you're trying to attract are people who want to do the very show you're doing, guys standing around, sitting around, arguing with each other over sports. If you make a mistake, that lights up like a flare in the middle of the night. You've just got to correct that, or else they're going to say, well, why do these dopes have that show? I can go out there and I can be just as good as them.
Well, it's almost over and over. My dad didn't go to college. My mom didn't go to college. And so they would beat into me, you're going to college. And they used to make me work at odd jobs so that I would learn the value of work. And you know, I'd go where my dad worked doing it with cars, and he'd make me sweep the whole, and this place was nasty, make me sweep all the time, you know. Tried to get me a job in a mill, but couldn't get me a job in a mill. My mom wanted me to lay carpet because she was worried about me if I didn't have a trade. And so she got a friend of hers.
As well, right? And you did come to an agreement, right? Where he actually bought the right to use his name, The Rock, from you.
No, that's not true.
Okay, hey, Vince, don't tell me about your business. I know what's going on. He brought the name from you. And don't correct me, Vince. I made a statement. Is it true that probably Stone Cold made your company more money than any performer ever? That time was unbelievably staggering.
No question about it.
So does he deserve a certain loyalty because of that, given what he brought to the, especially at a time when your company was actually below WCW because you did the show at that time, and then eventually within a year and a half you were kicking their butts, at least in a huge part because of Stone Cold.
What I am proud of, they want, you know, you've heard me rant and rave about media, and the need for us not to be talking about how terrible somebody else is. Why is the middle class in America disappearing?
But when you look at Trump and you see that his success is almost purely a function of the kinds of tactics I'm saying that you avoided,
right?
It doesn't make you think, well, maybe that's what you needed to do in this campaign to get into a position of power.
I mean, you think I should have been sending out tweets attacking Hillary Clinton personally, and then CNN would have said, Bernie Sanders said today, Hillary Clinton is blah, 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 blah. You know, if that's what it takes to win, I don't need that. What I want to talk about is the real issues, why the middle class is disappearing, income and wealth inequality, the need to have health care for all people, the need to have public colleges, universities, tuition-free, the need to deal with poverty. Do you hear many people talking about that, Chris?
No.
All right, I think we should. 47 million people living in poverty, highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth. So my campaign is not, never will be based on terrible personal attacks against somebody else. That's not who I am. It's not what I believe in.
Do you think that it will be important for you at some point to shore up the confidence that Clinton won the nomination fair and square? The idea of a rigged system. I get your concerns about the laws, and I don't think they're far-fetched. But the system is what it is, right. And there is an undercurrent on the Democratic side that, man, Bernie was boxed out here. You know, this was unfair. That doesn't help your nominee.
Right.
Opportunity, and it was perfect timing. We had come off the Super Bowl, and I guess I was feeling really good when I got asked. And Gotham had come, the director, and said, look, I think this is, you know, a great opportunity and great timing for us to do something like this. And it is nice to show so many fans who we've really built on the Facebook community. I think over 5 million fans, and you know, it's great to show the fans a different part of my life. They see so much football and Sunday afternoons, and you know, wearing helmets and the intensity. And I think all athletes are dealing with a lot of other things as well. Just there's you know, family issues and your family that you're dealing with. I have 3 still young children, and it was great to show all those fans a different part of my life.
Cricketer turned politician Imran Khan has been recuperating in London after breaking his back in a dramatic fall from a high platform at a rally in Pakistan in the run-up to the elections there in May. I went to meet him in London, where I began by asking him about his injuries and the impact on his political future.
Women to be educated, but provided you respect their cultural norms.
Including the Taliban.
Taliban have splintered into about 25 or 30 groups now, with no centralized control. So because one of the 4 provinces, there are about 25 different groups, and probably other groups too.
Because we talked to a Taliban commander, and he said, look, she should come back. She should come back. She would be safe. She should be a good Pashtun Muslim, and she should continue her life in Pakistan. Would she be well advised to do that?
For 1 year, possibly not, because you see, when the Americans leave Afghanistan, we could completely have a different situation in Pakistan too, because we could actually, the whole thing could start subsiding. But it's tricky. I mean, what is the situation in Afghanistan after NATO leaves? We don't know as yet. This fanaticism which has gripped the country now, more radicalization than ever before. This will then, we hope, we'll be able to control the militancy.
Not really, but I did want to get a mix. I mean, the beauty of, for me, of one-on-one is it's only interviews that I want to do, because I don't have a lot of time to prep them because of all the other stuff that I'm doing. So it's got to be somebody that I'm really interested in, whether that's an author or an artist or a politician, you know, scientist. It could be anyone. So in the book, I wanted to get a cross-section of that. I wanted, you know, most people kind of associate with me with, you know, dealing with.
That's a good question. You know, what I tell my colleagues at the Post these days is that we ought to be doing, an investigative reporter ought to be doing, first of all, the stories that other people don't do, won't do. You have to walk away from the crowd first. Second, you have to think about classes of vulnerable people who are not otherwise having their questions and concerns addressed in our society. Who are those people? Who is standing unspoken for, and what concerns can an investigative reporter look into that would be of public interest?
Say, oh, you chose MMA. I didn't really. It chose me.
honestly. I feel like this sport has been seeking me out since I was 15 and I started wrestling. And I just found that I have a true love and passion for contact sports. And I just wasn't afraid to go for it. So I really, it's not like I thought I was going to be a fighter. I thought I was going to grow up and be a fighter, you know. Wouldn't say that outside of fighting that I'm a violent person by any means, but I love competition, and I just think that's the most pure, raw form of competition. So once I got a taste of that, it was kind of like a shark smelling blood in the water. It just kind of seemed to make sense.
Is there some
comments about her career kind of coming to a head and you know, the culmination of everything. So to me it's not news. I know everyone's so excited about that comment for some reason, or I wouldn't say excited, but you know, just like, oh wow,
it got everybody's attention.
It got everyone's attention, exactly. But I feel like
it's obviously I didn't get my hand raised, but like 15 minutes of like remembering and rekindling and like, oh, this is what that's like, and this is what this sense is like, and you know, so I wanted to maintain with the weight, like I wanted to maintain with the cardio of it and everything. So it was very important to me to have it be as soon as possible so I could just like get a lot of work done at once and, you know, just keep it going.
I was gonna ask.
One, I mean, like it was really important to me to go out and see what I could do as far as just, I don't know, like getting through the nerves again, getting through the excitement again, like fight week, the weight cut, like all of that. It's all very revealing, you know, and seeing those results and then being able to go home and work on things and make the changes. Like nothing shows you what you need to change or do in your life more than a fight, you know, like
52, the many years, understand how best she can make an effect with her role. And I think it's all about finding your way with the right people, the right supports, close family around you to guide you. And I think she sees that more important than instructing.
And taking a very long-term
element of, you know, there is a long-term view to look at. It's not short-term as much as in politics. It is more seeing a vision and having a role. And it's about representing timeless values. I think it's very important. It's you've got to mix the traditional with the modern. And I think that's something she's done extremely well.
So what? What would I do? If I get up in the morning and had nothing to do, that's terrible. So I have a place to go to follow my profession. That's wonderful. If you can keep that going, I'll probably die. Well, some of them have passed away, the guys I grew up with in Brooklyn, but we have a crew of about 5 or 6. We meet every day at different places. And I tell you the truth, David, we solve the problems of the world. Today, we solved Iraq. Hey, audience, no worries about Iraq. The table solved it.
Mostly through jokes.
We do have jokes. We talk about people get in arguments. We talk about Israel. We talk about hearings. Who's this? What's this senator doing? What's he doing? And then we also discuss Sinatra and old-time music.